and then a wide angle. And we will introduce ourselves. Okay, the lady goes first. Tell us who you are and where you're coming from and what's going on. Nothing much.
My name is Aurora, and I'm from South Africa. And believe it or not, the first time that I've connected with Mika, who's with me on here, and we're discussing artificial intelligence and the way that it's sort of a mimicry with regards to human behavior. I'd like him to also, give more information with regards to that specific subject. And I can just basically fill in where he's, we're sort of doing the talk together. That's me. Also had some MyLab and soldier experience, but that's for something else.
Oh, the old MyLab and soldier experience. Yeah, that old thing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, take it away.
Cool.
If you introduce yourselves, is that Finland? Finland calling.
Yeah. So, do I say who I am?
Yes.
Or just...
So that people who have no idea who you are has some idea
Yes.
what you're talking about and why we're having this discussion.
Okay. I'm Mika, and I'm from Finland. I'm from Scandinavia, and my experience is about over 25-year experience to follow situation, how and what happened, and inform to people and to hire. So I have been I have translate to people language, or I have looked situation from people perspective. I have been live with people, I have been live with others, but I have been mainly live with people, and I was come to have life back with people after I was have life with different beings. And this subject, what is artificial intelligence, was come this morning to my mind when I was wake up, because Miles was yesterday give message. He maybe like to talk about what we know and what subject we like to talk. And before morning, I was not know what to say, what to talk, because I have talked to people before. I have talked privately, and I have talked publicly. Same information, what is about 10-hour information, and takes about 2 days to say. And so I have my story. I have repeated so many times. I not want to go to my story, but I not have military background. I not have academic background. I just nobody or person who people not know. With way how I'm just citizen. I'm like a people, but I have different type background. So. And people have known even when I was not know my background, and I was not I'm different because I never was feel different. People was already start to ask from me in 80s what I know to say to people, and people will start to ask. So I will start to.
Artificial intelligence is really something that.
Okay, we now are in record, so let's start again. Okay, right. My name is Miles. I'm in Wiltshire, and I'm pleased to meet you from South Africa. But you are in Finland as well, or are you South Africa?
I'm from Finland and from Scandinavia. So.
And your name is?
Not Europe.
Your
Same
name
level
is?
England.
But your name for the audience?
Oh, Mika. Mika is name.
Mika. Okay.
And, yeah.
And
my name. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry,
yeah.
my name is Aurora. I'm from South Africa. Sorry, Miles.
You're from South Africa, but are you in Finland as well?
No, I wish I was. It's cooler there.
Oh, so you are in South Africa now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
this is
absolutely.
fantastic. Right, well, I'm in Wiltshire and it's freezing bloody cold here. And Finland, is it freezing bloody cold where you are?
Yes.
Good. Mika, right. And sorry, Aurora? Aurora?
Yes,
Good.
Aurora.
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 Okay. Oh, Aurora. It's
Well,
not
you'll pronounce it properly. Aurora.
Aurora. Is that correct?
Yeah,
God, it makes me
yeah.
mad for Belfast pronouncing something properly. Jesus. Okay, well, let's go. Let's
Right.
okay. Okay, Aurora. If you give us to an audience who hasn't a clue who you are, what's
Okay.
happening? Who are
Okay.
you?
All right. I've been working with a lot of. I've done a lot of research with regards to the artificial intelligence and how it affects human behavior. But I've approached it from a different angle than Mika, but we've somehow met each other in the middle of the road with regard to this specific subject. I have had experience from dreams where there was something called Project Hydra, which had to do with artificially intelligent created mythological beast. But my dreams are very figurative as well. So I basically saw two projects, one called Project Hydra and one called Project Pegasus. Now, I've done some research and I realized that Pegasus has got to do with Andy Basiago with regards to the time travel thing, I think. And because I don't have my research with me right now. And Project Hydra has got something to do with software. Software. Computer software. Okay, I'm a bit of
before we get too detailed into that, okay, could we go to Mika in Finland and give us what your basic background is, and then could you then say how you met, if you see how you met, okay?
Person, how we was meet. We was seen. Yesterday I was sent a link. I was already think we may like to talk, so I was collect persons, people who may like to talk same subject, and Aurora was answer, and I was know Aurora background by how she was say she own story before, and I have say already publicly and privately my story, but is long story, so I like to just stay as shortly Mika, and I confirm this information and this subject is important what Aurora like to say, and this subject was come into my mind this morning, not before, and I was talked today first time with Aurora, and not before. So and we was find this same understanding very fast, and this why this subject is so important to look more is because people think automatically, easily, artificial intelligence like a negative, but how we see in situation is artificial intelligence is not basically negative, but people get negative effect with artificial intelligence.
Yeah, this is very important, because Samantha, who I've interviewed, who has a lot of implants inside her, is pushing that very point to make it positive, engage in a positive dialogue with the AI, and not be afraid of it.
This same understanding what we was talked today, and we was get same information differently, and before. So and what is negative is manipulation before artificial intelligence situation. So negative effect is generated before artificial intelligence boost negative effect, because artificial intelligence can boost positive effect if effect is positive, but because dark program have negative effect, then artificial intelligence copy people effects or reaction what is negative and boost people effect.
Now,
So, there's two level, like one level. First level is how people are manipulated to be negative or difficult life. Then people react to situation. Then second level is artificial intelligence, what boost effect forward like a 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more. So it's not like when understand deeper what is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is something what have already self-structured, self-destructured program, like a programmed into. So it's like fading out without people, or because it's try to copy people.
okay, this is important. Can we get what your definition of AI is from the both of you, please? Because there's a lot of people, it's a human-derived thing on computer systems, or it's artificial intelligence based on this black goo stuff. Or is that correct?
Aurora, do you know? Do you have idea?
Is it alien or man-made or what?
It's sentient. It's sentient.
Sentient.
It comes from, yes, it's sentient. That's correct. The reason I know that is because I've had some dreams where I've been shown that it's humanly, it's like an organic type of system. It works on impulses, and it's already there, but it's nothing until it's being manipulated by the motivation of whoever is going to be working with it. It's almost like a clay. Clay can be made into whatever form you want to make it into. So depending on what state of mood the artist will be who's going to work with that piece of clay, that's what's going to come out. It's the same principle where it gets programmed with your emotional impulses. So it has to be sentient because that's how it responds to the input of the program that it's going to put out.
Now, this is very important because the Marconi scientists, you're aware of the 1980s, Marconi defense systems were given a black goo for the Falklands, and they tried to weaponize it, and 42 scientists, young people, committed suicide, self-terminated, very graphically. Is that because they were dealing with this artificial intelligence, or what was a black goo out of these rocks that they got from the Argentinians in Thule Island, just to recap, that their intention was to weaponize it? So therefore it then decided to weaponize itself, and the first line of defense in weaponization is to annihilate the attacker, i.e. those scientists.
Well, I've heard of this, but I can, from what you're saying, what I'm sensing is, yes, I believe so. Given from what I dreamt, it could probably do that. Also, remember what Mika said, that it's depending on how you are feeling, what state of personality you're in, what sort of personal experience you have within yourself. So motivational with regards to self-esteem, yes. Heart-centered, which is not always present. So yeah, that's my input on that. Mika?
Yeah, it's like a crystal stone or nano, but it's like I have focused to effect, and I know effect from my own life very well. So when you know when you know artificial intelligence is real, then you know to follow people reactions and people behavior as then you know to avoid some zombie drivers and so on. I was have own experience about, I was trying to slow down and so, but this have a connection like to DNA manipulation already thousands years before. So beings who are DNA manipulated is easier to take over to and this what I was say today to Aurora, this looks like this artificial intelligence react to manipulated DNA what is not full spectrum DNA looks like is react already like a it's like a combination when it's artificial intelligence and DNA manipulation, as I call is hybrid people. So when it's combination, then it's automatically lower effect. But then people have full spectrum DNA, so people's situation is better. But there is thousands years have been DNA manipulation. So some beings automatically with artificial intelligence give a more negative result because it's dumped down in DNA like a material level, like a.
But there are people who say that we had a tri-spiral DNA and we're now running with two. Are you saying that this sentient material is because we're sort of hamstrung? It's seeing us as negative.
Depending on how you approach,
it's like a programmed or artificially generated negative effect. One should know. And hybrid people really think like, and hybrid people already know people have better option, better situation because people physical shift and people access into own soul level memory with download on soul level memory to DNA level is easier process. Hybrid people need really something help like a more help, but on process. But people who have full spectrum DNA situation is more easy, and reaction with artificial intelligence can be more positive. It's like there's two levels in same street. What is situation?
What do you determine as full spectrum DNA? The DNA, as I say, we've only got two strands. We've got an atrophied third at best. What's the difference between those two DNAs?
Hybrid programs will start with thousands years before. Will start with situation. First hybrid beings was look like a half animal, half people look like, and new generation look like exactly see people or near enough, so people on street level not know who is hybrid, who is not. So it's so near, looks like same, but what is easier to manipulate is hybrid people and who not have full spectrum DNA. And hybrid people know this situation, and they have said they not want to expose it their own being and to four people and their own situation, and they have been like a jealous to people slightly. So
who would you call hybrid? Would they know? How do they know? How would anybody know what a hybrid is?
Hybrids and spirit world as etherics and hybrid combination have keep up people beliefs what is money, religion, law, science, and public schools and cultures. So basic what people believe blindly already, and when people born is culture first, then is public schools and so on. So like a step by step. But there is already first step what is cultures, like a pre-programming to people. But who are hybrids? I have talked with, and they are manipulated to be sensitive to lower physical dimensions, but they are not sensitive to higher physical dimensions. People are more sensitive to higher physical dimensions, but people are not so sensitive to lower physical dimensions. So people are not sensitive so much to spirit world and to etheric situation, but hybrid people are sensitive because they are manipulated work together. And spirit world and etheric situation is and hybrid is only lower physical dimension situation, but what not exist in higher physical dimensions. So people have easier shift to higher, but everybody shift. But hybrid people need more help, and etheric situation need more help. I personally know because I have decrypted out control grid more or less from spirit world and from hyper people situation I have worked with, so I know. And now new thing, this artificial intelligence look like more clearly and seeing what it really is and what is effect.
Aurora?
I not have looked with my own attention without before this same situation. So today or yesterday was first day I was like really look into this subject. But I already seen how I seen, but how translate easier way to see to or clear enough for people to know, because people not know who is hybrid and people not know what is full DNA or full spectrum DNA or what is less. But when people look to street, there is two level in same street what is physically, but people not know to look. People not know to look deeply enough, or how to say, and people not know really what is. People not know even artificial intelligence is real thing, is real problem, because people are under dark program what is wrong information, lack understanding, and fear situation. Fear is artificially generated. When people have fear in non-attention, then no matter what is situation, reaction is always negative. When people get always negative effect, then what boosts negative effect as like a next level, second level on manipulation, because it's known what is artificial intelligence effect, so it's known to use artificial intelligence to negative, because just we made first reaction negative, then already artificial intelligence copy that situation and it's like a 10 times on 1,000 times more negative then, very fast. So it's like with use artificial intelligence, people are easily keep it lower and very low, like a state is like a press it down.
Or what do you
easily
feel about that?
Because artificial intelligence effect is known and is known to use like to generate stronger negative effect.
Okay, let's get on to that as to why that's happening. I mean, what do you feel about that, Aurora?
About the full spectrum?
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, the full spectrum DNA is the full frequency of your potential, your true potential of where you're supposed to be, the levels of what you reach. It's also similar to the torsion field that's inside from the heart.
Yeah,
or the
torsion field, like a toroid.
That's it, correct. It works in that frequency, in that way, in that shape. So basically, what I can add to Mika is basically you can manipulate your reality around you in terms of the artificial construct that we're in, the artificial intelligence that's in that construct. You can manipulate it with regards to being in a full spectrum awareness. And you can only reach that awareness if you allow yourself to grow, allow yourself to have more heart consciousness, because that really working with regards to electromagnetic energy. Electromagnetic energy is what really runs the show. Quite honestly, it's on the planet. It's in the ley lines. It's everywhere wherever you look, and the sentient artificial intelligence is really piggybacking on that electromagnetic energy. It's really basically the battery that's boosting, that's running that entity, if that's what you, for a better word. AI. Okay, like a blob of jelly with like a how can I put it? Man of war, jellyfish. That's how I would liken it. That's how I would explain it.
It's like a situation. People give lack control situation to artificial intelligence to copy. So people not know to take control with full responsibility from own being. And what makes situation artificial intelligence copy lack situation and then become worst case scenario easily. And what is full spectrum DNA? Hybrid people talk about 7 energy center physical body, and full spectrum people talk about 12 energy center. So
Yes.
and planet Earth have about 12 or 13 energy centers.
I mean, are you talking about chakras and stuff like that?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just to warn you, I've had a Windows 10 reboot alarm come up, so Windows 10 may shut us.
energy centers are portals, and it's just portals. So open portals, what planet Earth have and what physical body have. Some portals are outside physical body. But it's one way. It's just one way to say what is full spectrum DNA, because they who have full spectrum DNA have easier access to higher energy center. They who have a hybrid DNA, their access is somehow limited.
Again, I've got to ask. I've got to ask what. How can we tell the difference between these two DNAs, hybrid and full spectrum? I mean, we doing a physical, chemical difference, and then if it's not that, how do you determine you've got full spectrum? How can you measure or show or look at this or see it?
Yeah, with this shift, what happened right now is hybrid people have more pain and more difficult, and full spectrum DNA have easier shift, because this shift more or less with we go to higher frequency slow but sure is situation. Everybody have more or less symptoms, if not know how to remove symptoms. But especially hybrid people situation is not so easy, how we know we hybrid or not? Well, I made myself something from between. But then when super soldiers talk about their experience, they always remind they are hybrids. They are manipulated to be stronger and special to lower physical dimensions.
What do you determine as a so-called super soldier or one of these non-human cyborg units, or what? What do you determine? What is your version? What do you feel about those? What do you call them? Identify them.
Super soldier simply is stronger, faster in every way. It's just made. There's so many level manipulation how person can manipulate it. Physical body can manipulate it. Person mind can manipulate it. Everything between can manipulate it. Soul connection can be manipulated. Then there's always option to use person physical body without person even know. Especially when it's manipulated situation.
If I may just add to what you're saying and just give another aspect to this, the high frequency can be recognized by your heart energy. How long is how much do you love someone? You can't measure it, so it's infinite, okay, or limited, however it is you want to interpret that. The hybrid being, or you can get hybrid personalities as well. You get a hybrid software as well. They call it universal, just because they want to be different. They don't want to give it an organic word for it. It's really something that's taken from both sides and something else is being created with it. Now, I just want to come back to to this AI sentient element again. I just want to bring something else in, if I may. The sentient element is running on the electromagnetic frequency of the Earth. Humans are running on the electromagnetic frequency on the Earth. Everything that exists is running on the electromagnetic frequency of the Earth. We are in an electromagnetic universe. So AI is that and organic. There's that explanation. Hybrid beings are everything of whatever class you want to put them into. You can get hybrid bees, hybrid fruit, you can get hybrid vegetables, you can get anything like that if it's programmed to respond or to be in that frequency of what it is supposed to do. Okay. And what Mika is saying is, yes, hybrid people feel more because their heart energies are that much more forced open or are open, or they might have extraterrestrial DNA inside of it. I believe it's pretty common these days to have the DNA measured in the blood, that it's quite visible. So you can see hybrid people who feel more, who are responsible for more things that you would not otherwise find anywhere else. I just wanted to give that input in, just as my 2 cents.
Go ahead. Put your full 50 cents in. Do get talking. Yeah.
I can continue. So to add, how I seen hybrid person and hybrid DNA is not clone, and clone is different thing. Hybrid as people at full spectrum and less work both with soul connection. So person is connected to spine, into spine liquid, to control physical body and have experience life fully, but somehow like a hybrid DNA is cutted or limited, so experience is not so clear, and experience is easier way manipulated, and person easier under direct mind control type situation, because hybrid DNA is exactly manipulated to be sensitive to for lower physical dimension situation. But when people have shift, hybrid physical body not exist then after, and etheric situation, but right now spirit world not exist. They are only lower physical dimension problems. So when we shift enough, then we reach nature as planet Earth natural state without program, because this artificial state what people have dark program, what is unnatural state, is too low state to be in natural state, and is keep it up with program what keep people busy every day. So people not have even moment to look. And so do you want to continue this?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I actually can understand what you're saying there, Mika. What you're basically saying is, okay, in layman's terms, the people who are not hybrid, they are more lower in their frequencies, and hybrid people are higher in their frequencies in terms of their existence and what they're doing. Is this right, Mika?
Well,
is that what you're saying?
Very shortly, situation can be as there is more and less hybrid people. So
Okay.
everybody may more or less hybrid, but there's
Sorry,
clearly
guys. I understood that the hybrid people were lower access and lower dimensions and things.
they are sensitive to lower, so they can hear people thinking, and they can work easier with spirit world and etheric situation. So they can work together with others. They can hear people think, or they can directly. But it's like a lower physical dimension sensitivity is not like a they not have own connection to higher. They not have direct connection, and they cannot easily build up their own energy, and they cannot like it's kind everything is happening like under manipulation. What is hybrid people situation more or less? But when somebody
who's doing this? Who's doing this manipulation? You've talked about things which are manipulated or changed. I mean, who's doing it, or who do you say is doing it?
Story code what is taught for people is and what sound and feels correct was Lemurians people was to try to generate a physical body what survive on lower physical dimensions or lower or more lack or more dense life, and they was not happy. They was not happy to result, but they was give their result. All their work they was give to Atlantis people, and Atlantis people will start manipulation. They will start to use wrong way, or how to say, they was want to make hybrids, and very soon after, dark side was take over situation because it was going lower and lower and lower. So like a wrong direction then was easy to take over. And
again, who's doing that? Who's taking over? Aurora, input.
Well, dark side is different. As call it ETs.
Okay. There's a okay. I'm gonna bring something in that I recall as a memory. Okay, and I've had to work quite long to get that memory. So I recall that this Earth is the third version. Okay, it's known as the M class version. Okay, and that during this time, while the planet was being populated by the human program, because that was how it was known. Okay, that the humans came through to be here with the original DNA coming from Lemurians. They had initially this DNA had originally belonged to an older race, okay, and this older race was busy dying out, and then a group, let's say the word that comes to mind is the Anunnaki, or even older than the Anunnaki. Okay, I call them the elder group because there's no other word that really can explain it. Okay, and they all came together and they decided, okay, you know what? We really want these people to come and live on this planet. We don't want the Lemurians to die out. We want them to come and live here. Now, I don't know whether this actually goes against any other researcher or geologist or whatever, or archaeologist's information with regards to what they've found in terms of human origin. I recall the story from my memories that we placed humans on the Earth in classes, in developing stages, and as they were busy being developed in terms of how they were adapting to this Earth, that's how the DNA started adapting. So it was doing it by itself. It wasn't being. It's like you put something. It's the same way that you would, for example, explain how you would design an organic element. You would place a certain few things inside of this element, and it would, with whatever outside influence, would start to sprout leaves, sprout head or fruit or whatever. But it'll do that because of the environment. So the environment has to be in the right place. Okay? Then going to where we are now, there is manipulation. The manipulation is coming from what is already on the planet. There's that greater manipulation, and it's a manipulation that comes from having nothing else other than to want to survive.
Who do you call the original, but the people already here? What do you call that particular thing you mentioned?
With regards to the ones that brought the humans here.
There's the two types. There's the one who brought us here, and the other who were the people who were already here.
Yes, they were the older human race, the Lemurians, or Mu. The name that I have for this program was Project Adama. Adama was the race that was developed that came from Lemurian and Syrian and whatever came from out there to come here. So yeah, Adama was already living on this earth, and Eve was another group. So that's how it worked, how I recall it.
Yeah, you was asked who are manipulators. They are beings who try to stay in lower physical dimensions with program without have physical shift. They want to stay in lower physical dimensions. They want to have they want to continue life and evolution in third physical dimension and fourth physical dimension, or fifth physical dimension between. So they want to stay under fifth physical dimension with program artificially, and they will suggest same program to people to believe.
Yeah, out of fear, it gets propagated. That's what you're saying.
It's fear.
I mean, are you referring to Archon or Jinn or energetic beings? I mean, the Native Americans would talk about first world, second world, third ages of humanity. You seem to be talking something similar.
They are many they are many beings or many groups like who want to stay in low physical dimensions without shift. So they want to avoid. They think they in some level must master lower physical dimensions. So they not seen any reason to go higher. And
I mean, are you talking the demonic realm or what?
Well, they are as well physical as well etherics and combination both. So everything what exists on under fifth physical dimension with inside program space. Program space is not same space what is outside program space. Program space is sideways bended space what is limited space. So you get different experience inside program, and you get different experience outside program. And you can continue.
I want to say what you're saying. I want to just take on from what you're saying there. This specific etheric, non-etheric Archon or Jinn or whatever the names are, these entities, they seem to have the ability to get programmed. So it's almost like the chicken and the egg. Which one was first? I can say that the byproduct was first before the egg, before the chicken. You know what I'm saying? So this Archon is really a fake sort of light.
Artificial situation, artificial program was after. Is already situation. Peace have been everywhere already before program was made.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Because naturally, without program, everything stay on fifth physical dimensions, not falling to lower. Need to artificially lower state and place and energy.
Yes, it has to be altered.
So yeah, it's like without program, you always shift to higher.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yes.
And yeah, physically.
Yes.
What are your sources for this information? Where do you obtain this? A direct experience or your dreams or what?
You can answer first if
No, you go ahead, Mika. Mika, you go ahead.
I just was think to have a moment to where I come from, because I have my own direct connection. I was open third eye in mid-90s. I was have on enlightenment in 2007. And government was react to situation. Government was know what was happen, and they was make their mind to continue their program. They was just let me to sit down and look what they do, and I was not let really comment and think about situation, but witness what was happening. So where I come from, I have answer to people question, and I not have asked from people. So my question was not for people what happened in end. Was people question to me originally what happened, why I still look what happened and how happened and so on, and try to translate to people language. So
I mean, are you
partly even from dreams, because I have seen what happened and what I was understand when fourth wave ascension happened, then solar go black, and when solar go black is May 3-day darkness, and when 3-day darkness happen, that situation is so strong, and there is a situation how is need to filter and buffer to smoother so people can survive. But without artificial help, what as people was on artificial state too low, was artificially helped to higher, and now because people are artificially helped to higher, people need to artificially help to survive to forward as well. But when people wake up, people can help process what happened. But
are you referring to this Planet X, Nibiru stuff, blocking out the sun, or what?
How I understand, Nibiru is not Nibiru, is planet Lemur, is home planet to Lemur people. And Lemurians not come from, they simply come from other planet. And this Nibiru situation, next planet, is situation what is not led to disturb this planet Earth situation right now. Is filtered to have minimal effect. So is no thing.
I mean, my reading, the reading that I got from Chris Thomas was that this whole thing with Zachariah Sitchin, he's an agent of the Vatican. They're pushing the Valon, planet Valon, which is a collective name for Anunnaki and all that, and it's nothing to do with this solar system.
Yeah, it's not so near to. And
that is correct.
Even some object is very
Sorry,
near.
Aurora,
when it's multidimensional, a different dimension is not have so huge effect.
Yeah,
because it's not same frequency. It's not.
In other words, you've got to get out of a 3D solar system. You're talking a multi-dimensional solar system with planets in other dimensions.
We just need to get out from program space. Out from program. We just need to decrypt program out. So we don't need program. We need.
Okay, before we lose this point, Aurora, could you explain when you said that was correct about what I just said?
Planet Nibiru has been there for as long as everything else has been around. It's just been coasting around, doing its cycle. The fear that's mainly based on fear mongering and making people feel really afraid. That's the false alien horror, terror thing that's going to happen, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's what von Braun mentioned, the fake alien invasion. He mentioned that to Carol Rosen.
Yes, I know that there's a group that I've connected with through astral and lucid dreaming and etc. etc. That they've explained to them to me that they have all been living around here so comfortably because there's so much drama taking place on the planet that they could easily just walk about and do whatever they need to do and get it done because everybody's distracted by whatever is out there, you know. So the story about Nibiru, I recall this as that it is a dwarf star, that it's really a brown planet, brown ball that's just moving very slowly in its force, in its program force where it's supposed to go. I've seen it remotely. I've seen it with my eyes as well a few times. And when I looked at it, and when I connected with it, I felt that it had a connection with regards to Anunnaki. Yes, that is absolutely true, because I recall this from a memory of that time. But it is not something that we need to be afraid of. It's not going to hit us. We're going to be okay. We've got a few thousand.
When you say you've seen it, what do you mean by seeing it?
And the invasion may not come from other locations. So it's a similar trick what Vatican Pope, how Pope was present Gregorian calendar some hundreds of years ago to people, and was trying to replace about 15 original native people calendars. So, an original native people calendars was say what happened right now, was give idea what happened right now, is shift, is to better. But Gregorian calendar just keep people work 5-6 days every non-stop to program, and give one or two holiday, one day, 2 day holiday. What is not enough because physical body need base is calculated. Gregorian calendar is calculated because physical body need minimal from 2 to 4 days, what is about 3 days, to recover physical healthy back. Is minimal what physical body need, but it's calculated out, is removed. So people physical healthy is become huge business. And
so are you saying because they shortened the year by about 5 days or something? Is that right? With different calendars? With the old calendar and new calendar, that's had an effect on our health?
Yeah, because it's keep people busy. It's program people busy. People is suggest people to work 5-6 day non-stop and give only 1 or 2 like a weekend. And when you have 1 or 2 day holiday and you not have 3 or 4 day, the physical body not recover, it stay unhealthy situation for physical body. So it's manipulation, what Gregorian calendar is. And the Gregorian calendar was copied to other cultures. So, and people not know. So we just like to give idea how.
Yeah, but are you saying
how complex manipulation is?
Yeah, but you're then saying that the years would all be wrong, or does this?
No, years not have matter really. What I was saying before in my own information was after 2012 was happen artificial delays because people artificially have helped to shift smooth enough. If all was led to happen, it's happened already and people was not survive physically. But because help after 2012, what was happened was artificial delays was 9 months. 2013 and 2014 was have 4 month artificial delay, so was 1 year 1 month artificially delayed it, like smooth shift. So
how does that mechanically work? You're saying that the time density area here changed so that we had a shorter year, or what?
When is like a global is globally on planetary surface, but still when people travel from city to other, or from city to city or different location, people already travel multidimensionally. So people travel from lower to higher, or from higher to lower when people fly from location to different location, or when people travel with car. It's already multidimensional travel what people know do, but people not know. But shift happened to planet, especially to like a full planet, but how to say, different parts, planets, as inner planet is higher physical dimension already, and outer planet surface area transform like a with delay. So this delay give option to evacuate people and to have a smoother shift.
Is this something? Sorry, Aurora. Yeah.
Sorry, please go ahead, Miles. You were
Is
saying.
this something about what happened with Saturn, that the time density of the solar system changed? Because anybody who looks at the dinosaurs, they're massive things. There's no way they could be in the same gravity field as the one we're in at the moment. They just wouldn't be able to move. Are you saying that sort of thing happened? If so, who did it and when?
Yeah. Saturn was used to manipulation, so it was like a long distance manipulation. So, and moon was used to trans. So what Max Pierce was say and so on is really good idea what was happening, but like right now, what is situation? Planet really shift physically, and because it's made smooth and slow enough, people can relocate it before it's happened all.
Yeah, I believe that what you're saying there, from what I've experienced, is the same. Pocket realities is what I would call it in my terms. It's exactly what you're saying, where there's fast time, slow time, no time.
Yeah, like bubbles, a reality bubble. You go from one to the other.
Correct. Pocket realities or bubbles, yes. And I have had an experience. I visited my family in Ireland, and I experienced the density of the energy in a one specific location, where it was as if there was no time. The sense of how you felt there.
Where is this? Where was that in Ireland?
There's a.
I've sensed something like that myself. Plus, there's other areas where the so-called Fae come in.
Yes. I'm trying to recall.
I mean, in the north or the south, or east, west?
Rural area, nearest studs. Few horse stud around there. I actually can't remember the name.
I mean,
I was in
what would the nearest city be?
Dublin.
Okay. Wicklow Mountains or Drogheda, where Newgrange
near
was?
there. Yeah. Near there, around there. That sounds familiar. That word that you just said.
You've got Newgrange, which has got the spirals on the rocks on the outside, and there's two other areas there. Knock, I think, is the other one. There's another one I can't quite.
There's also a town where all of the white was. That town. Do you know of that? What is that called?
Oliver White or Oliver Cromwell?
Olaf the White, Viking. Some town was named after him. What do you recall that name? That town?
No, but we can try and look it up. But it's interesting. Okay. Is that near the River Boyne?
Yes. I've heard that as well. Yes.
You're talking Slane Castle. Would Slane Castle be? That's.
Yes.
Slane Castle. They had a lot of rock concerts there.
That's it. But there was a cemetery nearby. So I went to go and look at the cemeteries. As I was explaining about the pocket realities, I went in there and it was as if there was no time. I then interpreted that experience as if it was coming from inside of me. And I was experiencing a timelessness within myself. And I interpret that heart energy to that toroidal field is really the generator of that time, specifically that moment, that pocket reality. And I went out of it and I came back to South Africa and I felt the time difference again. Not the physical time, because that doesn't exist. That's just a linear. I'm experiencing time in multiple moments where it comes from my heart energy. I don't know how to explain it. It's the most amazing thing. Your heart energy is really just a generator.
It's like a levitation.
Yeah.
It feels like a levitation. Your physical body feels lighter and
that's the time manipulation.
The stronger heartbeat happens when you keep your own energy centers open and flow, and then when you have stronger heart field, you start to squeeze ultrasonic core area, and you make light pillar effect. You have access even to higher energy centers.
Yes.
So you generate chain reaction, and you generate own bubble, own space.
And that's correct. And that's what I saw as a full spectrum energy. I saw the colors. It's like practically no color. As full spectrum.
There's a friend of mine from Guatemala or South America, and she's been sending some pictures of columns of light pouring out of people's heads, going straight up. Is this something you're referring to? It's like a huge beam of light from the top of the head going 10, maybe 15 feet up, 3 or 4 meters.
It can be seen like a light pillar. It can be seen or feel like a light pillar.
These are actual photographs.
It's pillar light. Sorry?
These are actual photographs. It's as if somebody's got a huge...
When person shift physically high enough, so it's different frequency what you are. When you take photo or when you see with your eye, you see in bright light, because person generates so strong field around what is like a lens effect. So you witness like a optical illusion. You seen light from behind object or from behind person, because light visible light follow always straight. But when space is bended, then visible light start to follow bended space
around it. Yes.
Yeah, and you can see only from behind.
Yes.
So you see bright, but when you shift to same frequency about, you see in real shape. But it's only when you look from lower to higher you may see bright beings, bright ships, bright light, because it's just different. It's different space. It is like on space.
Yeah, is this basically the energy from that higher level has got more energy in it, so it looks brighter?
Yes. State of your mind.
It's like expand. Yeah.
When you are seeing it.
But energy. What you see is result with energy, but you're not seeing like energy. Energy is not have like a color. Energy is like a come from outside physical dimension, like a soul energy with portal. It's come from outside. So what you've seen is just resistant effect and different effects like a bending space and optical illusions. You've seen effect what energy generate, but you cannot see with eye energy like directly, because it's always like how to say color without color, or it's like it's not like a rainbow colors. Even rainbow colors are like resistant effect. So you've seen like resistant colors and so on. And the sound wave react different ways. Sound wave, you may feel like you not hear people around you. Not if you speak out, others cannot hear you, because sound waves stay always like an inside stronger field. It cannot penetrate like between.
Is this a little bit like what some people have described as the silence? That is a sort of an on completely nothing. You can't hear anything, and you can drop a pin almost.
Yes, it's like when people meditate, or when people have meditative state or focus enough. You may lose everybody around you because you cannot hear sound waves.
Is this similar to the thing like the Matrix, where there seems to be fewer and fewer living people in any one matrix grid. If you see what I
Well,
mean.
what I was like to say that city and pocket situation, what we was talk about, or what it was talk about, pockets is up to how much traffic is in small area is up to how low state is easily. And when you have open area and you not have etheric layers and you not have like many people in same place, you have a higher frequency, you have better energy and faster flow and so on. But it's like a traffic situation what generate easily low state and low place and low energy and
Okay, we're coming up to almost an hour here, so but this is sort of a great start. Did you want to sort of give a little resume, and we'll call this our first sort of part, and
That
put it
sounds
out
good.
there? Okay, if you want to start, Aurora.
Um, I
If you
I
want to
actually don't know
start.
what to say. Sorry. Um, I don't know what to say.
we was
Actually.
saying already.
I think I've said what I wanted to say. What I basically just wanted to add to the sort of bringing to the end is we are responsible for everything that's around us on this planet with regards to time travel. We don't have to have machines to do that for us. We have an organic, sentient intelligence that we can manipulate with regards to our heart energy, and we can decide how we see things. That specific field that Mika was talking about and what you mentioned about the pocket reality is also how you can time travel, by the way. You can just add sound to it, and then you can decide where you want to go, and you should be able to project yourself to there, given that you would have to do a bit of exercise in terms of your emotional and physical state of being. It is possible to time travel, project yourself to another place, teleport yourself with sound. But that's just a thing that I've experienced at some other time. But yeah,
Yeah.
everything that's on the planet. Yeah.
What I like to say, time travel not exist really. Time travel, what is made to happen with the machines and technology and with beings combination, is travel inside program space, sideway into space. So is travel sideway, and is travel inside like a program space. Is not travel outside programs. You don't need
No,
to travel. You
that's
don't need to
correct.
travel time outside.
Yes, I'm talking about what's here.
Yes. Locally. Locally. And
Local time.
what I like to say is, was thing to say was just we like to generate understanding as much as can, because it's good to stay neutral with all information and with all energy, and not be like a positive or negative, because positive and negative are two extreme state. So you have unbalanced situation with positive and negative. But when you stay neutral and when you make your own best, and when you just start to understand your own being better, and do your best, because do own best is always access to others' help. You start to have access without you need to ask. I was not asked today, but I was get a lot help today. Because I was make my best, and so.
Yeah, likewise.
Well, thank you very much. This is the first sort of go. We'll meet again maybe tomorrow. And I know it's getting very late for you where you are. Although in South Africa it's probably just not as late.
That's about a minute before pumpkin time. That's 12
Oh my
o'clock.
God! Yes, it. Well, as John Lear say hello to the great pumpkin. Well, I hope this is sort of stuck. This little recording. It's really great
Thank
to see
you.
you. I think it's going to be basis 60. God knows what the hell it is. And we'll see what the reaction is. Have you got any initial reaction to your first troll?
Well, yes. Anyway, is like information, because people not know this stuff. Not
Yeah.
people, and without somebody say who have own experience, people not have ideas. So it's like wake up call somehow. What
we've got more.
we're not perfect. We're not perfect beings to say anything, but we say from our own experience and best what we like know to combine together. So
Yeah, we've got more power than. Well, I'm speaking in general for everybody on the planet, that they've got more strength and more power than they've ever realized. Quite honestly, it's very, very simple.
yeah.
If they can stop being lazy and start looking at what's around.
And it's already when people
That's mine.
yeah when people are not so heavily manipulated, and when situations become more clear, people find how much people was have energy without dump down so with so complex ways. People energy is from 100% is dumped to 10%. Is 90% dump. Is huge. So people not have like easy access to own energy without start to decrypt situation, without look how to do or how it's done.
Well, thank you, you two. It's been a fascinating first time, and we'll see how this sticks. We'll get back into that on our part 2. So,
Thank you.
from the dark, cold night of devices to South Africa in the sweltering heat, and to Finland in the probably tropical warmth, because the way the climate's turning upside down. But anyway, we always talk about the weather in this country.
English winter.
You've got an English winter in Finland? That's
it's like
cold,
English
wet, and
winter
miserable.
because not so much snow. So
God.
warm every year.
Oh my God. Okay, well that's it. We'll see what that's going to do, and say thank you very much indeed. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Miles.
Good
Thanks,
day.
Mika.
Cheerio.
Because
Cheers.
thank you.